You know that person, right? That coworker, that family member, that one person who just gets under your skin. We've all got them. Dealing with difficult people is one of those things that's just part of life, and it can be so frustrating. But what if I told you we might be looking at it all wrong? In this explainer, we're going to explore two really powerful lenses that can completely change how you see these encounters.
So let's start with a kind of a wild idea. Just flip this whole problem on its head for a second. What if that person who drives you absolutely crazy isn't just an obstacle in your day? What if they're actually a gift? I know that sounds a little out there, but what if they were sent to you, specifically for your own growth? It's a radical thought, but just hang with me because it's the key that unlocks this entire conversation.
All right, section 1. We're going to call this steering your own ship. Our first lens is a modern psychological tool you've probably heard of, personal boundaries. This is all about learning how to take back the wheel and navigate those choppy waters of human interaction. So when we say boundaries, what are we really talking about? It's easy to think it's just about, your personal space, your bubble, but it's so much bigger than that. We're talking about emotional limits, what you will and will not accept from people. We're talking about digital boundaries, like when to shut off the phone, and maybe most importantly, boundaries around your time. Ultimately, they're the limits you set to protect your energy and your well-being.
I just love this metaphor. A life without boundaries is like trying to steer a ship without a rudder. You're just adrift. You're getting tossed around by whatever currents come your way. And this isn't just a nice little saying, it actually points to a fundamental human need. Psychologists call it self-determination theory, which basically says we all have a deep need for autonomy, the power to feel like we're steering our own lives. And that's exactly what boundaries do. They are the rudder.
Okay, so how do you build this rudder? It really boils down to 3 steps. It has to start with self-awareness. I mean, you can't enforce a limit if you don't even know you have one, right? Next, clear communication. You have to actually state your needs directly and respectfully. And number 3, this is the hard one for so many people, learning to say no. And trusting that no is a complete sentence. No big apology or long explanation needed.
So, that's the modern approach. It's practical, it's powerful, it helps protect you. But it's not the only way to look at this. What if there's a much older, more spiritual perspective? One that suggests the answer isn't to build a better wall, but maybe to hold up a mirror instead.
And that brings us to our second lens, which comes from ancient Jewish spirituality. And it pretty much flips the whole problem on its head. In this view, a difficult person isn't an intruder to be managed. They are a mirror sent to show you something critical about yourself.
And here's the fundamental shift. The normal way of thinking is that an annoying person is just a random encounter, a meaningless obstacle in your day. But this spiritual view says something way more profound. That person was purposefully sent to you. That this whole frustrating encounter is actually a lesson, designed just for you. This idea is at the very heart of this perspective. The source material puts it just like this. I brought you this untrustworthy person to show you what is in you. Let that sink in. The point isn't the other person at all. They're just the messenger. The message is about your own inner world.
This ancient practice is actually called tikkun hamidot, which translates to the correction of character traits. And the focus here is radical. When you run into that difficult person, your job is never to fix them or judge them. Your job is to turn inward and ask yourself, okay, what is this person showing me? What trait inside of me is this situation asking me to work on?
So look at how this works in practice. If you're faced with someone's arrogance, the mirror is asking you to practice humility. If you're met with crazy impatience or anger, that's your invitation to develop your own patience and self-control. Whatever flaw you see out there in them is basically a giant signpost pointing directly to the virtue you're being called to develop in here.
Okay, so we have these 2 really powerful lenses, the boundary and the mirror. Now, on the surface, they seem like total opposites, right? One's about protecting yourself on the outside, the other is about improving yourself on the inside. But what's so fascinating is how they both point to the exact same outcome.
And here it is. This is where it all clicks together. The psychological lens of boundaries, its goal is autonomy. You take an external action. The spiritual lens of mirrors, its goal is self-correction. You take an internal action. But do you see the common thread? Both paths pull you away from blaming the other person, and they place the power squarely back in your hands. They shift the focus from them to you.
And this is maybe the most important thing to get. You don't have to choose between them. These aren't mutually exclusive ideas. Think of it this way. Boundaries protect the outside of your house. The mirror helps you clean the inside of your house. And let's be real, to have a healthy home, you absolutely need both.
So, let's turn all this into a practical path forward. This is how you can actually start turning inward and reclaiming your power in any difficult interaction. So the next time you're faced with that person, in that moment, what do you actually do? How do you put these ideas into practice when you can feel your frustration just rising and rising?
It starts with a simple but incredibly powerful action. Just pause. Before you react, before you say anything, just take a breath. Then you ask yourself that crucial question. What is this situation showing me about me? And your answer will guide you. It'll help you choose your tool. Is this a moment for a firm boundary? Or is this a moment to look in the mirror? Either way, you're no longer just reacting on autopilot. You're acting from a place of true internal authority.
You know, if there's just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. The challenges other people bring into your life are not random punishments. It isn't just bad luck. They are perfectly tailored opportunities for your growth. They're opportunities to become stronger, wiser, and more in charge of your own life and your own character.
So I'll leave you with the one question that brings both of these powerful lenses into sharp focus. The next time you face a difficult person, before you do anything else, just ask yourself this. Is this a moment to build a wall, or is it a moment to look into a mirror?